I remember the really janky falling scene at the very end.
Was that with the dog falling in the basket?
No, he falls out the window. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, this movie has been out for so long.
Spoiler if you haven't seen this brand new movie that's like 70 years old now. Go off,
You're
Josh.
As soon as I started talking, I'm like, wait. It's not even worth it now. It's not even, like, worth repeating.
I didn't even know he was
To all the deaf people listening to this, wait. Nothing's changed for you, I guess. So maybe you know what I said. But...
You need carbs!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
There is beauty in imperfections.
You're great. I am.
And if you feel it,
Are you watching closely?
You haven't noticed, Ellie is pouring us chucky milk in champagne glasses.
Nice.
These champagne glasses have had multiple, I would about to say substances, but that's not right.
never champagne.
Never champagne, but it has had Baja Blast, chucky milk.
Josh, why don't you just pour the honey straight into the tea?
Well, because then I can measure it. Even though I know how much I'm going to put in.
Okay. So proud of you.
Thanks.
Wait, so Mike, do you have a drink? Because we all have drinks.
No, I just finished my chai, actually. I made it to, like, be here at 7, and then I was like, oh, 7:30. Oh, well, now my chai is gone.
Yeah. I got some water if you want it.
Actually, that'd be great.
Yep, there.
Thank you.
It would be so funny if you had a water bottle that you reached and, like, grabbed from the other side of the screen to have.
Right when you did that, I grabbed my water bottle. I was like, that would look like it was...
Goes to Ellie. Oh, oops, sorry, not you. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
The first time, Mychal, spelled Mychal,
That's correct.
and is a girl.
I am, in fact, female.
Guys, I've been reaching for proof this whole time. It's here. Living proof I am not gay.
I'm constructing the Funny Moments episode, and there was the moment in the soundtracks episode where you were really trying to prove to Deacon and Isaac, who didn't know anything about Mychal, like they didn't know you were in a relationship. You were trying so desperately. You're like, ignore me in the maid costume. That's Mychal in the corner.
I forgot about that.
Oh, man.
Ignore me in the maid costume.
Oh, whatever. Was it maid costume?
Yeah, and I had like a quadruple D something bra on. So it was.
And a wig.
Anna Carlson went to a thrift store and saw like the largest, like comically large bra. It was like, I kid you not, like this big.
This is William's sister, by the way.
Yeah, William's sister. Like just a bra this big, like massive.
It's massive.
And then I'm like, I could fit in that.
I'm pretty sure I have, like, the photo on command.
Better not be my
Sometimes
contact photo.
I just stare at it. No. You know what? I'm going to change it right now.
No. Okay. Dang it. It's okay. That's what we get for putting her on the podcast.
I brought it up. So clink before we're done.
Dink it, sink it.
Well, we're not done. There's more.
Oh.
The blender bottle kind of ruins the aesthetic.
Yeah, well.
It really does.
You know those shakers that they usually have behind the bar that have like,
well,
you just have a blender bottle.
Not a sponsor.
Okay, blender bottles I can only use for gym-like stuff. Otherwise, I feel like I have a hint of gym taste with it, even though it's like a perfectly clean bottle. Like the idea of pre-workout there.
You're saying Glenda bottles, like from Wicked?
Blender.
Oh, I was just like, witches.
Slay.
Slay. Go to the gym with our Glenda.
Now I forgot what I was going to say.
No slaying more witches and no slaying witches.
No. Josh, I guess I have my energy drink in my blender bottle, like I mix in.
Yeah.
But I would still, that kind of falls under workout. But also, it's the difference between having a chocolate protein shake and a fruity energy drink in there. There's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Like, it's just the idea of the gym. Like, it could be perfectly clean, but it's just, I feel pumped when I'm having chocolate milk in it.
Chocolate what?
Mychal.
Your figure
Mold. You cut that video.
Now I get to publicly embarrass you. This is wonderful.
This episode better do good. Just kidding. I love having Mychal around, guys. This isn't even sarcastic. I'm so excited she's here. Mychal, put the gun down.
All right. Oh, Josh.
No, I just got hit by the bullet she shot. Sorry.
Obviously, Seth. Come
Yeah,
on.
my bad.
Yeah.
I thought you were exclaiming something.
Possibly a slightly subtle reference to Arcane Season 2, the intro.
Let's
Episode
cut
1.
straight to Isha.
So I recapped a lot of Arcane. I watched two like small 8-minute videos like of just ideas to get me rolling.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen to the first episode that we did. So can we have a refresher of what we've already talked about?
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that you and I, Josh, have done every single Arcane episode, because you and I did the second one, just you and me, and then Will was on the first one, Zach and Will were on the third one. So you and I have technically covered a lot of ground, and I wanted to first hear from the girls what their general thoughts are about Arcane, what they've liked about what we've said in the past, or their favorite moment, or something like that, and then we can talk about other things. We really, as it pertains to the first episode that we covered Season 2 on, it was a lot of our general thoughts about Season 2 and how it compared to Season 1. And that was
okay. I was gonna say, didn't you already do this episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was more of our reaction to Season 2.
Okay.
And I believe even since then, I've changed my perspective on Season 2 to be more in awe. Again, we don't want to praise all of the tough things that we don't really support. And there's a lot of sketchy stuff in that show, but the art style and the story and the music are just the epitome of artistic storytelling. And I think that it's enjoyable because of that. Disappointing for other reasons, and yet still one of our favorites. And yeah, I wanted to hear from the girls first, and then Josh, I want to hear what you've thought about Season 2 since we last talked. Mychal, as our guest, would you like to tell us what you think about Arcane? Because Josh kind of probably roped you into that, didn't he?
No, actually, I was hooked before I met Josh.
Wow.
Actually, I had binge watched Season 1 in a single night, and I was so excited about it. And my quad mates walked in, they're like, "What are you watching?"
That's my girl. Sorry.
It's better because it actually has like a storyline that I can follow. Season 2 was really great through I think it was episode 5, and then all of a sudden it took a turn towards the arcane, and I was lost in the magic and the weird cultish vibes and everything. And
Josh.
Oh, he was frozen. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I thought you were holding it.
Sorry, my bad. Didn't mean to cut you off, Mychal. It's hot.
you did so great.
Guys, I'll be upfront with you. I have a crush on Mychal.
I'm gonna clip that and not show her face so that I can just post that everywhere. Look up a random picture of a guy on Shutterfish or something, and just
we're gonna get like an interview with some random guy who's working on a show, and his name's gonna be Mychal, and then you're just gonna put his face, and everyone's gonna be like, "Why is Josh like this guy so much?"
Josh has the biggest crush on this guy.
What do you mean they're married? Just kidding.
now that Josh has stolen the show.
Yeah, sorry. Mychal was talking about how the art style and the storyline of the first season was really, really good. Second one was a little hard to follow.
No, I didn't mention the art style, but I was going to next, so you read my mind. It is so much better in the second one. There's so much more symbolism because there's so much more ground to cover. in the second season than the first one. The first one was just like establishing the story, establishing the characters. No, wait, did I say that? The first one was. And then the second one just exploded.
Literally.
Literally, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want your super fans, your millions of fans, to not notice that I wasn't wearing my ring.
Yeah.
What a queen!
You're also wearing my sweatshirt. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not that means anything. Anyway.
Our merch!
It's the old one.
Yeah. It's still there, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I changed the font. Sorry.
Okay, so Mychal, I'm going to interrogate you super quick because I know that you are an artist, very, very talented, and you love drawing. And I want to talk about the art style that's throughout both Arcane Season 1 and Season 2. What are some things that you think you noticed that other people might not pick up? Like whether some aspects are 2D or 3D animation. Like I know Seth has good input on this because he's in animation, has a degree in animation. But like from someone who's into pen strokes.
Sounds like somebody's biased.
Maybe. But what are some things that you immediately like fell in love with for the first episode of the first season of Arcane?
Okay, I don't remember like the first episode as well, but I do know that because it was what's her face and her mom died, right?
The opening scene is Vi and Jinx on the bridge as kids with their mom. And then it goes into like their robbery, of Base's laboratory, and then their fight down below, and Vander chastising them for.
That's right.
For doing
so Caitlyn's mom died, and immediately we see like royal purple. So I'm just gonna go with
season
the
2.
colors.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I thought you were talking Season 1. I was recapping Season 1. Season 2.
Oh
when
no.
Caitlyn's mom died. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you trying to see if it does the same thing Apple does?
Well, no, I was trying to get it to focus because I went out of focus for just a second, or at least it looked like, or maybe it's just smudged. Might just be smudged. Think it's better. What?
A second.
It does the same thing that Apple does. Wait, okay.
Where?
We're jealous. Hang on.
Wait, Mychal, are you on a Mac, iMac or laptop?
I'm in an Apple.
Yeah, so it's your camera. It's your in. It's not Riverside. It's just your camera that is Apple.
That's cool, though.
I feel so powerful. I know.
Anyways,
You can just make fireworks happen whenever you want.
if you want to emphasize your point.
I got nowhere to go after that. That's really funny.
We can just in post. Look at
Oh,
all the
yeah.
fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
In my room.
Where's my green screen?
Who needs a green screen when you have Apple?
Not a sponsor.
Put fireworks right there. Fireworks.
He's holding it in his hands.
Fireworks.
Okay, so Caitlyn's mom's funeral from Season 1, Episode 1. Or Season 2, Episode 1, I bet.
The colors change all the time, and that's one of the biggest things that I notice in the art style is like she goes from bright blue to kind of like a gray as though she's losing herself, and then Vi does the exact same thing when her hair turns black, and Caitlyn's uniform turns black, and like as she's going to shoot Jinx, there's like one scene that she's going to shoot Jinx, as the flower petals that were purple like fall to the ground, they turn black, as then like she's turning to this tyrant of a character before she becomes like an official general.
Mm-hmm. It's similar to like Luke Skywalker in the main original trilogy of Star Wars, where he's got his light clothes in Episode 4, and then it's like tan and darker in the 5th, and then it's black with at the end a little bit peeling open, showing he's still got light in him.
Oh, that was good.
I forgot that color theory was even something that you could do. It's something I dismissed in literature class when the professor asked me to say what the curtains were feeling when they were the color blue. Like, they're curtains. They don't feel. But
why did the author choose to put this door in the film?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But
wait a second. That brings up a question. Do literary art, maybe Josh misspoke, but do literary artists describe something with color as though to draw an image of something in your mind to provoke something that is in color theory that you normally would see in film, but they're trying to visualize it in the book and in your imagination.
Yes, absolutely.
I do not comprehend that. Like if they say, like Josh said,
that's because you didn't have to do stupid public high school English classes.
Homeschooled.
Were you homeschooled?
Yeah, my mom was happy if I read the book.
I love that Mychal, you brought that up though, because Vi in the first season, being red, being a color of anger, passion, and just kind of a very, very abrupt color. That's exactly what she is. Like she's angry, she's go get it, she's passionate, and she's just willing to do whatever. That's what the color red kind of represents. And then Vi is blue, and also
Jinx is blue.
Or sorry, not Vi. Jinx. Jinx / Powder is blue, and that's like represented of sadness, grief, and that's exactly the state that she's in for the rest of the show. She's in such a deep state of grief that she's just broken beyond repair, it seems like.
And another part with like the relationship between Vi and Jinx is they have each other's color in their eyes, but that is lost whenever like Isha is replacing Vi and then Caitlin replaces Jinx. That's that color that they're in each other's eyes is totally like changed, because then Vi becomes gray and then Powder just becomes, a bright pink Jinxie color.
I didn't even notice that. That's so cool.
I know.
Wow. They're so detailed. It's insane.
Everything has a purpose and a meaning. It's so beautiful.
And their mom has purple hair.
That's another thing I was going to point out. Purple. Very simply. Like
right at the camera.
My word.
We were down here looking at their faces, and it would just stay right at the camera. I think Mychal nailed it with there is purpose behind everything. And what can we learn about that is that our creator has purpose behind everything. And even more so than a decent, I say decent because you have the high end of art and story compared to and drugged down by some of the stuff we don't agree with and the tough things to watch. So the middle is good or decent. And anyways, more than that, God has everything under control and knows, has made these details. And so we can appreciate it and take comfort in that.
He really does use all things for his good. Like one of the, doesn't quite fit in with it, but this was a passage that I was reading the other day of the one story of that one false prophet that was trying to speak curses on the nation of Israel, but he could only utter blessing. So they were just constantly being blessed without Israel's knowing, where it's like the Lord's really just working to turn all of our curses into blessings, whether that means on this side of eternity or on the other side. Like eventually everything's going to be reconciled for his good, rather than just it all being some decent mess of high morality, low morality, good coloring, bad coloring, good animation, bad animation. Like it's all really just going to be for the glory of God, whether we see it or not.
Along those lines, from a worldview perspective, I think of what was the worldview behind writing Arcane, and it seems to be a form of relativism where you kind of side with whatever character you've grown to know, but they're not actually moral. I think I actually said this to Seth. The only like quote unquote good characters we have is Heimerdinger and Isha.
Yeah.
Aside from that, everyone else has their own stuff that they're dealing with that's sinful. That is like obviously everyone's a sinner, but like the characters don't show sinful behaviors. Those two characters don't show sinful behaviors, but the rest do. And yeah, it's interesting to see how those worldviews come out in the art that they're making, and yet they still can't help but show themes of truth and beauty in what they're making.
And when they lose that truth and they start to lose the beauty of the childhood world that they knew, they lose their color too. And I think that's really cool with like the way that God intended us for us to be was like his beautiful creation, and we all have strengths. Some of us walk, some of us run, some of us baptize, and some of us don't. But like we all have our own colors, and when we lose that, we start to lose ourselves. We stop seeing the beauty in life, and I think that's really cool with the colors too.
Yeah, the relativism is something we've talked about before. There's no good guy in Arcane. They're all evil. I mean, obviously, humanity is evil, and so we're assuming that kind of from the get-go. There is better characters, like you said. Even Echo kind of falls in there, where he has a desire to do good. More for his people, for the Firelights, but then it turns into something different in season 2. But it might be promoting it in the sense that, again, I don't think that story writers come out with these stories thinking, I hope this communicates moral relativism is okay, when in fact it's just an idea that has helped the story become what it is. And it's true. It's what the story is about, even if it's not the message. There can be the meaning behind the story without the message that you take away from it as being true, or as we want to be doing here, seeing the message and determining if that's good or bad.
Yeah. My thought is more what worldview inspired this story, because you can see that there's just a very secular worldview behind it based on the content. And then I think of stuff like Lord of the Rings and obviously Narnia, where like you can tell that a believer was like that the worldview that inspired this story, because it shows in everything.
Yeah. And there's all of this kind of matches in with I want to call the thesis statement of the show in a way. We heard it in the first season. In the pursuit to do great, we failed to do good, and that was kind of the sucker punch that got us ready for the second season. But then Victor drops the lines: humanity, our very essence, our emotions, rage, that which inspires us to our greatest good is also cause of our greatest evil. And that's exactly what all of this perspective is. Like, it's this whole idea of relativism. And I know that there is like hard truth found in the Lord, and that's what I am rooted in. But I love a story that kind of takes that perspective, saying like, oh, but if everyone understood my perspective, you just understand. And I empathize with that. But there needs to be a constant in the Lord. And I think that line is kind of the overarching theme of the entire show. Like, if everyone just understood from my perspective, this whole thing wouldn't be a problem at all. And after watching a few essay videos, and like 4 of the 5 that I watched mentioned that line being the thesis statement. So this isn't an original thought, but I want to add on to it and kind of just bring it back to the Lord. Like, everyone has a strong desire for consistency in morality. Everyone. And our emotions cannot dictate that. And we let our emotions dictate our actions. But what's so important is that we do rely on our Lord and Savior to like be our action, be our emotion, because he's going to be consistent when we are not. And I think that's like Arcane season 1 and season 2 is kind of just in contradiction to everything that we live as believers. But it's something that you can empathize with and be like, I understand. But I kept on, like, after watching it for the third time now, the third time I watched through, I was like, oh, if only you knew Jesus, you would understand.
Yeah.
Vi is, when she's about to make out with Caitlin, which is a whole other thing, but like, she is begging her not to change. She's like, promise me that you won't change. And going off your point, Josh, like, she totally just collapses, goes full depression, like, just beats everybody up for the next few years because she doesn't have that foundation. The last thing that she put her hope in, like, broke her promise. And so she lost it. She was kind of like the raw humanity of, like, this is what a life without Jesus is going to look like, kind of thing.
Dog reveal?
No.
Bark.
Josh, where is it? Don't, but where is it? No. Put it away. Put it away.
I thought you about the Bible, like cleansing himself.
That is actually higher up. It's right here. I can go to Proverbs. Psalms is quite written in.
For
This is a
anyone
coloring book now.
for anyone wondering, we're not going to tell you what that binder is because it's a secret that only
It's an
you only
inside
know-
joke.
Yeah, it's an
Thank
inside
you,
joke.
Seth.
But we were dying on the inside joke. We had to tell a few people.
Yeah, but
Not the world, though.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
Josh, what you said about the one thing.
Yeah, that thing.
the one thing with the stuff, the person.
Not you two. Not you two.
Josh, you were saying that you empathize with these people really well, and everyone is like, if you only got what I was going through. You said multiple times in the previous 3 episodes that that's also the beauty of Arcane. While that leads to the moral relativism, it's also notable that you can empathize with each character, knowing that they did what they did for a reason. You can follow their footsteps, be in their shoes, and probably come to the same steps that they did, even if it's wrong morally. It's understandable, and you've mentioned that a bunch of times.
Yeah. I think I want to notify the one exception to this, and that's why it makes her such a great villain. In a world of everything being like super, super relativist, what's her name? Mbessa?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mbessa. I think she's a great bad guy.
Yeah.
I think she's a great bad guy because she's like the over prepared, just so cool you can't really even be mad about it, and she's just twisted in enough ways and respected by enough and has enough power for it to be borderline a Joker complex, if that makes sense. Like, she's just crazy good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which makes her a good villain because, no, she's not really that relatable. Like, yeah, she has some backstory that's really hard about trying to keep a nation and her family together, and like she holds family very close to her heart. But from what it sounds like, she's just holding self-preservation close to her heart because of her fear of this what is it, the Black Rose?
Yeah.
And that is enough for you to be like, yeah, I get it, but you're way over the top in this. Like, we have to stop you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's relatable enough for you to be like, sure, but no, we have to stop you, you know?
There's a theory that she's already like accepted the Black Rose from like season 1 to season 2, and I don't know the specifics of it, but when she gets up and leaves out of her chair, there's a rose, and then like it's seen, and it's just like, where did that come from?
Yeah. One of the essay videos that I watched also talked about that. If I can remember which video it was, I'll send it to Seth so that he can link it.
Sounds good.
But I don't remember because it was interesting, and it was a theory similar to the debate on if Jinx left or not, or is alive or not at the end of the season. It was really, really interesting. But if I can't find it, sorry guys, you're in the dark.
It's privileged information.
To the 3 of you, I'm sorry. Just kidding. Just kidding. My mom will watch this like 40 times.
I think our moms are still our biggest.
I actually have a few friends here that watch it.
Okay.
Like probably 12 max.
One of your friends just graduated.
Well, yeah. I still got 11 friends, guys. I still have 11 friends, guys. I know people.
Ellie, we are a half hour into the episode, and I would love to hear you speak your mind on Arcane, because I also know there's one route that you want to go.
I don't want to rewatch it because I personally think that the cons outweigh the pros as far as, because you said you wanted to own it. It's not something that I want to rewatch again and again because it personally weighs too heavy on my conscience because of all of the stuff that's in it. Like, I can appreciate the beauty, and I will watch clips. Like, I will watch the Isha scene like 50 times a day. But
and the music.
The music is really yeah, that's also not great, but
it's part of our soundtrack.
Yeah. But sorry, I got distracted by Josh dying over there.
Excuse me. Keep going.
But I did appreciate it for what it was, and I am really glad that we watched it all together because it was a good opportunity to see some really good art. So that's why I think, like, there's a lot of beauty in it and there's a lot of good in it, but I do personally just think that
It's dark.
Too much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really dark. And that's one thing when I say I've watched it 3 times now, I do want to preface that I've skipped entire episodes just because I don't really want to put myself through like abruptly starting to look at a friend or something during certain scenes.
Man, this ceiling is made out of ceiling.
Wow, popcorn ceiling. What is this, the 90s? But no, like, especially, like, you know what the scenes are. Like, everyone was like, no, this isn't something that we want to be putting in our minds. This doesn't deserve our attention. That's entirely right. So I just want to preface, if you are going through this, I would highly recommend that you take the intentional side of watching and just skip over the stuff that you know is going to be dark for you. And that's okay. It's okay to look at bad things of content when you skip the stuff that makes it bad and just don't let it consume you.
Then you're not looking at the bad thing if you're skipping.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
that's what he meant. He bad overall, like
overall. So
yes.
A show is bad meaning like something that we don't want to be consuming as Christians. If the show is bad for these reasons, don't watch these reasons, boom, good show.
Taru.
Just VidAngel, Arcane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I forgot VidAngel.
You missed the last 3 episodes of it.
Yeah, basically.
It's funny because I was actually listening to an episode on rated R content today from Date Night Collab. Seriously, they're amazing. But they were talking about the content, and part of it was talking about, since they're parents, they were talking about what they show their kids and how that, like, what do they watch? Because he's a pastor, and he didn't want to be like going home and watching rated R movies because his congregation was gonna know about that, and that's just it could cause an issue of conscience for other people, and he just didn't want to cause anyone to stumble and all of that. But then talking about, like, how do you vet stuff for your kids? It's like going through reading good Christian reviews, and then also kind of talking through what's the worldview behind this. So then there's the pieces of, like, there's the stuff that's like, obviously I don't want to be watching nudity, even if it's cartoon. It's just, I don't want to see that. Right. But there's also worldview issues behind it where I'm like, I don't even, like, even if we took this and cut all of the bad scenes out, I wouldn't want my kids watching this even when they're teenagers, because like, they'd have to be adults to watch this because of how powerful that message is behind it and how confusing it can be and how heavy it is. Because, like, we're grown adults and we were crying. Like, it's heavy.
And I think that's something I remember from my interview with Paul Lacey, where he said the rating system can only do so much. Plugged in, kids in mind, whatever, can only tell you the objective things and not the worldview things. And the worldview can be a lot more effective at changing your mind. Not necessarily changing it to view something a different way, but more changing it to accept. So I think there's a difference there in like, oh, I'm going to convince you of this versus a slow fade, as a very famous Casting Crown song. It's a slow fade when you give yourself
away. Well, and the media that you put in is more likely to subtly make shifts in your mind that you don't even notice. And so that's why it's so dangerous. So you got to make sure that you are going into things with a mindset of, like, I like the find the lie trick, and that's something that, I don't remember who it was. Someone does that with their kids. Probably Living Letters. But basically he goes with his kids when they watch a movie, and then at the end of the movie he's like, okay, find the lie. What was the lie that they were
believing? I like that.
And I love using that when I go into anything that I'm watching, because I'm like, I'll call it out. We're watching Daredevil together. I'll be like, oh, that's bad theology. Like, that's wrong. Like, because they have like a Catholic background or Catholic theme going through it. And it's just kind of fun to be like, oh my goodness, Matt, you're being an idiot. Like, this is so much better if you just listen to your pastor. Like,
I know growing up, it was, so I went to public school. Seth, I guess you wouldn't know what that's like.
Nope.
But I was kind of constantly ridiculed for the movies that I hadn't seen, the shows that I hadn't seen, or the words that I didn't know. And so people were like, man, you live under a rock. And then it occurred to me when I was in high school, I was just like, I don't live under a rock. I live under a helmet. It's like, it's a matter of, like, guarding your heart, protecting your mind. Like, what goes in also comes out.
Yep. Garbage in, garbage out. William, on the other hand, lived under a rock.
He really did.
We joked that the rock was the size of Russia, and he keeps on bragging about how it's the size of Ukraine right now, but that's still a massive rock.
And you know what else is massive?
It's a pretty big rock.
Yes, he keeps saying his rock gets smaller. My mom messaged me today. She works at Harvest Christian School, where Josh and I graduated from. Guess who is subbing today for Mr. Kling?
William Carlson?
Mr. Carlson.
No.
He was in his office.
Professor Carlson?
Professor Carlson.
That's insane.
Thank you guys for the morality talk. I want to talk about how fun Arcane is.
Yes.
Yeah, we got the message out of the way. Now it's time for the fun stuff.
We're going to watch
That was the fun stuff.
part of this. This is Isha's song, English cover. That sounds exactly the same, but you can understand the words.
I love understanding words.
Even if the world is full of desolation, lift our heads and we can see the moon.
The artistic style of that song being in Japanese.
I think so.
One of
I
the
thought it was
Asian. No, that's
No.
that's the dance song with Echo and.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That one I looked up the English cover and it didn't hit as hard, but the Isha song makes you want to cry even more than just the music and the visuals in the show make you want to cry, and then you hear the English version and you're just like, ah.
I literally had goosebumps.
Don't be so sad now. When the tears come, don't you cry, or something like that. Lift our heads and we can see the moon, and that's just so beautiful.
I bet they made it like a different language so that they would save us a little bit of pain when the
they
scene
wanted
came
us
along.
to feel everything in that moment.
Well, they can't kill us though. They need viewers to make it through the rest of the season, I guess. If that was in English, I might have died.
Yeah.
They already killed us with Powder.
Oh yeah.
And Echo. That.
I was thinking about the order. Was that episode?
That was probably. I think that was later because
Echo and Powder
each
was
was
episode 7. That was the whole episode was a flashback. Or alternate universe was episode 7.
So
I'm thinking.
sad.
I think Isha was 5 or 6. Josh would know. He's seen it a bunch of times. He doesn't know.
You know I'm a number guy.
No.
Can't get them right this time. See, what my problem is, it's just one season.
Yeah.
So it's all together.
He's watching 6-hour movies over here.
There's just a
Y'all
10-second
binge-watched
intermission while Netflix plays the next one. That's it.
True.
It's
Yeah.
all one. It's all one.
Y'all binge watched it in one night, right?
We were going to
yeah,
watch
yeah.
the whole thing, and then Josh said, "I got a late flight." And so
Well,
we
to
said,
save
okay.
$100.
I know. So then we watched Act 1 on our own, and then Will and Zach came to watch, actually Anna too, came to watch most of Act 2 and 3, and then Josh joined us for the finale when it picked him up. So
Did we take Anna home in the middle of it?
yeah, well,
That's what I thought.
No, because we brought her with
Oh,
as we went
right.
because we
Yeah,
drove
yeah.
past her college as we went to pick up Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Anyways, those I believe Isha and Isha's song and Isha's death was probably one of the most emotional scenes next to, I believe, season 1, episode 3, which if I'm trying to get people to watch Arcane, I have them watch through episode 3 because that's going to make you want to watch the rest because it's so emotionally impactful. And I only have one sister, and brother on sister relationship is different than sister on sister. So I believe you would say that it's more crazy, more feelings if you were to put yourself in their position. And
Bless you.
by
There he goes.
he's going to the bathroom.
No, he just sneezed.
Oh.
Not the paper towels.
It's gonna.
Ow.
You can't hear us, but his nose is gonna be raw.
No, please keep going. I'm just dying over here.
So yeah,
I really hope you couldn't hear me blow my nose.
What were you saying?
I was saying that season 1, episode 3, where Powder is really trying to help, and that's really what kicks off the rest of the story. And Vi yelling at her, and everybody dying.
Yeah.
Even just the characters that are spawned from that, like robot arm lady loses her arm in that one. Obviously, Vander dies, and there's just so much that's initiated in that episode, and those two together are really hard hitting. There's a lot of wow moments in the rest of them, but those are the most emotional, I would say. Zach sent me a guy who reacted to the, I'm pretty sure it's episode 6. I could be wrong, but he reacted to Isha's death, and she's running in with the gun, and he's like,
Oh, pop off, Isha! Oh, pop off way less! Way too big of a pop off!
it's not cool.
That was way too much.
Okay, there's just a side comment. The new arm, like, game mechanic where she has to, like, pull a lever and get lucky to have it. That was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
Like, that brought back some of the fight scenes from the first season that the second season was kind of missing. Like, it still had good fight scenes, but no, like, wow scenes.
Yeah.
The second time I watched it, that was a wow scene.
Yeah.
One that I remembered. Like, that was such a cool mechanic, cool idea.
Oh, and I saw a video essay about that. At some point in that scene, Jinx says, "It's something I could fix." And it's after that, it's been the season intermission between, and she's presumably been a little depressed because she killed Silco and also accepted the role of Jinx. Like, that was the whole climax of season 1, is that she felt that leaving Silco alive would give her the opportunity to be Jinx, but she twisted it. Anyways, when we see her in season 2, episode 2, she's still feeling down. That's when she meets Isha, and when she makes, gosh, I always forget her name. When she makes the arm,
That arm thing.
the arm,
Savelica?
Savika. Yeah.
Savika.
When she makes Savika the arm, she wants to do something. She wants to make something, and that randomness, the slot machine thing, part of the arm, is fun, and it's also. She's laughing at the whole
You
thing.
think slot machines are fun?
Technically, I won't do one, but they're technically it's the
They're
randomness.
addicting. That's what it is.
But that's Jinx mixed with real hardware that can help the situation. Schnee, who, like I've said before, has dedicated his whole YouTube channel to making Arcane content. He breaks it down. He's a great analyst and analyzes her isms. It's even odd when you analyze a live action actor. You know, they could be really in the role. They could be, so it could be like Cillian Murphy who completely immerses himself in the role, and you can analyze his facial acting that he does. But it's really different with 3D animation. Yet the animators are acting through these characters and have control over those minute things, but still choose to put them in. This is the attention to detail, like we've talked about. But analyzing like smirks and little twitches and stuff, and even he figured out that through another person who has worked with deaf people before. He figured out that they animated Isha, who is deaf and therefore mute. She misses certain elements of the story when she's not looking at them. There's things that she's like,
so beautiful.
They've even seen, if you watch closely, she's watching Jinx's mouth, not her eyes. Her eye line is straight at her mouth because she's reading lips. And then there's things like the one that I remember specifically is when they're walking through the Victor's encampment, his area where all his people are. There's somebody who was like metalworking and then put it into water and it sizzled, and Vander roared because he was the monster, and Isha went to comfort him. She did not hear the sizzle and doesn't know what provoked him, and she brought it to him and he's like, "What's up?" You know, in her face. It's just those little things that they thought of, and it's so cool.
Yeah, and from a storytelling and that same scene with the game slots, from a storytelling like film grabbing the audience's attention, it was totally randomized, like what she was gonna pull up, right? What cool trick would be up her sleeve, literally. But thank you for that.
It was really good.
Jinx the whole time was just like, oh, this is going to be good. Like, she knew and she was kind of rooting it on, which made me as the viewer like, oh, what is it? Like, Jinx knows what it is, but we're about to find out. And so that was just building anticipation as a watcher and as a viewer. That they did that so many times where somebody would know something that the audience would not, and therefore we would be jealous enough to keep watching. Which I think is so cool when a film does that.
Reverse irony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The audience knows something that the characters don't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Like, on my screen, I'm in between someone who has a degree or a film minor, a degree in animation, and I'm just... Ellie, do you feel the same? Wait, you're an engineer.
I have no right to be here.
Josh is the only... No, Josh is the only one without a degree yet.
Let's go, Seth.
Yeah.
Guys, I was coloring in class the other day.
I was coloring at work today.
Were you?
I just got bored.
Oh.
Movie genius, business genius, animation genius, straight up genius.
Yeah.
Business guy.
One thing I want to talk about, maybe the film minor will be able to understand when I'm talking about diegetic sound. Hey,
sound engineering is a thing.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
But that's not even close to engineering.
you did?
That's what my dad does.
Yeah.
I took a
Your
class
dad's cool.
that's kind of related to it.
He's on the radio. Anyways, one thing that I was thinking about with Shnee's videos is he talks about how the music plays into Arcane in general, all of the soundtracks that they get many different characters to do, or many different artists to do. But one that stands out is the final fight when Jinx comes around in the balloon and blaring her music. It goes from diegetic sound, kind of like you can hear you can see all of the characters start reacting to something. They look around and you hear like a dull thudding from behind the building. And then as soon as her balloon comes around, you can hear the music as though like there's a different sound for music that is diegetic or non-diegetic.
Right.
And so when it's diegetic coming from her speakers, it sounds a little different. And then slowly it transitions into non-diegetic where it's only in our ears and it helps lead the music and lead the scene. But it also is a part of the scene. Like it's her, it's what she's playing to hype herself up. And that was also Jinx's climax back into being her again after being so depressed when Echo is reversing time to try and save her from blowing herself up.
So dum-dums, what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my question.
It's the same thing as what happened in Avengers, the first one, when Iron Man is first introduced and we hear like the theme music, and then all of a sudden we realize it's like overview music, and then we realize that it's actually Iron Man playing songs because he turns it off himself. So it's just music that the audience and the character can hear because they're playing it on a radio or something.
Okay, so it transitions to from background music to like an element in the movie,
Or vice versa.
whether it be a radio or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Why does the actual definition confuse me more than your explanation? Of or relating to artistic elements that are perceived as existing within the world depicted in a narrative work. I don't know why my brain
That
cannot.
was so many syllables.
I know.
So many.
I'm learning more words. Diegesis is a style of fiction storytelling in which a participating narrator offers an on-site, often interior view of the scene to the reader, viewer, or listener by subjectively describing the actions and, in some cases, thoughts of one or more characters.
Diegesis is what happened on Good Friday. I'm sorry. You can cut that.
Really good. That's really good.
No.
The girls are on a roll today.
I
First the
know.
upper sleeve, and then this.
No, the way you said it. Diegesis.
I get it. It's good. It's good. The one
I
that
can't even slap my own knees. Like, that deserves me to go over and slap someone else's. That's how good it is. It's...
thank you.
Yeah,
You gotta
thanks.
put it back down. I remember the one movie that we would watch that was used to teach diegetic sound is Rear Window.
That is such a good movie.
I think it's on our list only because I'd make you watch it. It's an old movie.
Josh, have you seen it?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay, we're watching it later because it's really.
Do you guys do Discord date nights and movies and stuff?
Yes.
Aww. Or maybe not.
Gotta make it work somehow.
Yeah, we never did a
420 miles is nothing. Give me more miles, honestly.
Easy. At least like 1 tank of gas. Come on.
Anyways, Rear Window is one of those movies that I believe 99% of the sound you hear is diegetic. So any music is played in a speaker. You know, it was like a disc.
Somebody else's music from like downstairs.
Yeah.
For context, this movie is cool because it's only shot from this one apartment.
Because he's in a wheelchair and he's stuck there.
Yeah. So like the whole movie and everything that happens in it is shot from what he can see out the window and what happens inside the room.
I remember the really janky falling scene at the very end.
Was that with the dog falling in the basket?
No, he falls out the window. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, this movie has been out for so long.
Spoiler, if you haven't seen this brand new movie that's like 70 years old now. Go off,
You're
Josh.
As soon as I started talking, I'm like, wait. It's not even worth it now. It's not even, like, worth repeating.
I didn't even know he was
To all the deaf people listening to this, wait. Nothing's changed for you, I guess. So maybe you know what I said. But I'll start my apology video.
Have you ever?
I'll put a picture of Braille up on there so that they can.
Wait.
But now I'm offending another community. Guys, I'm digging.
Wait, if they're deaf, you're putting Braille?
Yep.
No.
It's okay, Josh. We still love you.
Written Braille doesn't mean anything.
Well, the joke was going to be that I put Braille on the screen that doesn't actually have any indents.
But deaf people can read.
Yep.
But this is for the blind people who are watching, and now
This is totally random, but I remember seeing a post of someone who was making fun of a football jersey or soccer jersey, and it had like Braille words on it, but it wasn't like actually Braille, and they're like, "What? Why would they put Braille on there?" And the comment was to raise awareness for deaf people, and they're like, "Who doesn't know about deaf people?" Just wait. And then the bottom comment was, "Just wait till the blind community sees this."
or not. I've seen videos of like the captions don't match what he's saying, and so then he says something like, "Hey, shout out to all the deaf people," but then it says blind people. And yeah, so it's messing with them.
That's so funny. Yeah. Jesus loves you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Wheelchair guy stuck in a room 70 years ago.
No, we were gonna.
Yeah,
That's
not our
No.
That was
Okay.
just to understand diegetic sound.
Yep. How did diegetic sound turn talking about blind?
So Arcane, right?
Arcane.
Diegetic sounds.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm pretty sure I blew my brains out trying to sneak.
Its main purpose is to like bring the audience into the story.
Yeah.
That's not to scoot out of the frame.
I want you to see my boogers.
Thank you.
Not that close yet.
He's bouncing like a VeggieTales character.
One of these days, I'm going to do the entire podcast on one of those like little yoga balls with a handle.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I was gonna say, I literally have done podcast episodes on my exercise ball because that's what I have on
But-
my desk.
It's got to have a handle so that I can stay stable. Anyways, back to blowing my nose and back to what you were saying.
We talked about this in the previous Arcane episode, but ladies, what do you think of Vander coming back as the werewolf? Because I still think that it was a bad idea because I felt like death should mean something in a story, and having him come back like that, yes, provoked more story to happen in season 2. I don't know that they could have done the werewolf character, again, forgot his name, without those same story beats. But I still believe that they should have reconsidered bringing Vander back to life. And also, he died so many times. He died when he fell, not died, but he was thrown off of the bridge into the Shimmer and then became the Shimmer monster. And then he fell as the Shimmer monster and died at the end of episode 3. And then he was revived and brought to Victor's place, where he was also killed because of the Embase's guards, and then brought back to life by Victor to become the monster. And then he died when falling down the big shaft with.
Yeah.
Victor brought him back to life?
Well, he had like the handprints. He was like the marble monsters, I suppose. Yeah, everyone would be zombie.
But what's kind of cool about that is that literally becomes a plot point to where, who was it? Victor admires him because of his literal unwillingness to die is what's keeping him alive. Like raw, bruteness, just straight up dad energy, dad strength, keeping him alive.
Love never dies.
Love, friendship never dies. I'm making fun of Mychal because she watches My Little Pony.
Oh, that's what that was.
Who else watches My Little Pony?
I don't watch it currently.
Oh, not you.
Are you a pony?
No.
You know the one too. It's a real word.
You are giving words that do not work here. I have watched My Little Pony 2 episodes. When I agreed to one.
The T-Rex episodes for my Little Pony fans out there, okay? The T-Rex episodes, so like the best ones of all the ones. Continue, as you were watching My Little Pony. Continue.
Josh, what was your test for Mychal that would allow you to watch My Little Pony with her?
If she could say it without laughing or like giggling, smirking, and I also had to do the same thing. If she was able to get through one whole episode without laughing at the names or anything, I would watch it with her. And the amount of times she broke because she kept on having to say that she was taking away friendship, or friendship triumphed over this great evil. Yes, they took their horns or their magic or their ponies, but
it's cinematic art.
Friendship
and sparkles.
And when in doubt, they go to their new friend, Butterbean Sparkleface.
I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna dignify that.
What is it? Is it a different name?
No. Yes.
What's the name?
I can't remember, but I'll look it up. Hold on.
Anyway, Josh, friendship never dies or something? Oh no, it was Vander who never dies.
Yeah, Vander never dies, and his straight up just raw is what's keeping him alive. That's kind of cool.
I don't think there's any evidence in the final episode to prove that there's any fatherhood left in him when he's just the monster under Victor's control, especially the moment when he's fighting Vi and Jinx. Like, that's obviously supposed to be symbolic of the family fighting. But then when he's going down with Jinx, he's still like trying to attack her. Like, he's grabbing her, he's falling, and then she pulls the grenade. It just seems like he continued to lose his humanness throughout each of his deaths. I wish he would have had the one resurrection with the Shimmer at the end of season 1, episode 3, and then be done and have that still be a driving force in the back of the girls' minds, not being a present physical thing. Sorry. We're going to let you guys talk.
Mm-hmm. Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. Mychal?
You can see how tired the girls are at the end, because they're just like, Vander, really? Like, you're using that as an excuse again? With Vi, especially, whenever Jinx brings him into the picture, she's like, are you kidding me? Like, really, Vander? Like, Vander is what you're going to use to bring me back? Like, it's not going to work. She's just also tired of it. I totally agree with you, Seth. I think, you need to honor death in a film, or you just start to lose respect for other aspects of the film. But another part, I think, one of the big reasons the writers may have used Vander coming back was so that they could go into Jace's story and the Black Rose situation and all that, because while that's happening, while he's healing from the cult and all that, then the writers are able to go into this whole other aspect that's happening on the other side with the Arcane and with all that, while these two main characters who we have a lot of connection with are trying to heal. So they're using Vander as like a way to not talk about these characters for a bit and focus on something bigger, which is cool, but I think there could have been a better way to do that. I don't really like Vander coming back, but it was effective. They used it well. So
one thing I like that I kind of am going to build off of that. It seems like Vi is having the same exact reaction to Vander being alive as the audience. So we almost sympathize with Vander. It's like, or with Vi, it's like, don't give us hope. Like, he's dead. Just leave him dead. Don't drag me on for some sort of story. And we're like, yeah, Vi's kind of right. And I kind of like that. But I also understand it's like, just leave a character dead. Keep death as having a meaning. And like, we're almost all with that side of Vi's like, no, just don't listen to her.
Yeah. And I want to be rooting for a character, which is why I say that they could have done it better. We want to be rooting for something instead of rooting with the character against something.
I like my fiction, like My Little Pony, where it's a short episode and it ends with friendship conquers all and everything's happy and everything's good. And so when Seth said that there were rumors about Vander coming back, I was like, oh, that's amazing, because like Jinx is going to come to the end of herself and she's going to need Vi and she's going to come back to Vi and Vi's going to be at the end of herself and they're going to need a family and they're going to have Vander and everything's going to be great. And then they got so close and then they just crushed my soul.
And then they blew everything up.
And it's beautiful and it's amazing and it hurts so bad.
It hurts so good is what I think about it. Like, it's just so well. I left, so I don't actually know what you're talking about, but I agree.
Hurts so good.
Yeah.
That is my love-hate relationship with Vander coming back, though, is that it really got us so close to what we all wanted. And I wanted it so severely that I was like, come on, this has to be the ending. And then when it didn't come, I was like, it's amazing and it's beautiful and it's reality and it hurts so much.
Yeah. I think there was also a part of me that was confused, and I had to ask Josh, like, who is this beast guy? Because we knew it was Vander because they said it was, but I was like, why is he coming back as a dog?
Yeah.
And that whole part with the guy who was working the magic and the chemicals and everything, that totally slipped my mind, and I was just like, how is he a werewolf?
Yeah, kind of same.
Yeah. There's a lot of intricacies, and with a show that is very much so show don't tell. Like, there's barely any exposition, and they've mastered show don't tell. But in doing that, it's very, very easy to miss stuff. And I wish they gave a little bit of grace in the storytelling of trying to give a few details. I was finding myself annoyed, not with Mychal asking these questions, but like, I kind of just gave up. I don't know. Can we just it's Vander. You know,
we don't need to figure out how this happened. He's Vander now, so
just accept his happy ending.
We don't need to figure out. We'll do the how later. Let's just.
I'm gosh.
It wasn't that I was annoyed with her asking. It's just that I was annoyed I didn't know.
Yeah,
you know.
I know.
I quite enjoy when she asks. I'll be honest.
He's Warwick. I remember the name. Warwick from the games. It's always been insinuated that in League of Legends he is Vi and Jinx's dad. Makes sense. It was brought to fruition in Arcane. And I believe they left those things out because they want you to play League of Legends. And obviously the return on investment is very low on that. But I believe it was released in a month or two after the show was, that they expected Arcane to increase the League of Legends players, and it did not. And so therefore they saw season 2 as a failure financially. So that's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's what I said.
The marketing team put so much work into a 2 years worth of animation, and then to not get a return on that investment
I think it's tough with
Gotta
it being
be.
a streaming show. Like their profit would have actually. It's not going to be in Netflix raising their prices, which is ridiculous. It's like $23 for non-ads, for no ads, and high stream or high bitrate streaming.
Did we cancel that?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
They expect the money to be made in the games that they're like, oh, your answers are over here in the games and the booklets that they have been making and all that, and nobody wants to actually do that.
Here's my quarrel with that. As someone who plays games and has played League of Legends,
Gasp.
10 hours under the belt. Buckle up.
Okay.
For those who play video games, you know that 10 hours is like nothing. So take all of this with a bucket of salt. Bucket of salt.
Here's Lot's wife.
League of Legends developers, if you want people to play your game, put the same amount of work you put into the show into the game, and you'll probably get some retention.
Oh my gosh, I knocked over the champagne glass. I'm sorry, you're right.
The game is well made, but all they do is they come out with tons of new heroes. The community is super, super toxic, and they don't really do much to try and make it an easy interface to get into.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a little bit friendlier of an invite in, where it's like, yeah, you can do this, here's some beginner stuff. No, you're just right into the deep end of someone calling you slurs on the other line. Like, there's no enjoyment in it, and that's something I can't get into. So if they wanted League of Legends to get better, they would do better at making League of Legends than making a TV show, because the literal community of League of Legends has repeatedly said the only thing good to come out of League of Legends is a TV show that's barely about it. Tell me, okay, I respect Arcane so much, but League of Legends developers, I don't know the name of the company or whatever.
Right?
Y'all got to lock in on making that game just friendlier, not advertise it. In the words of NF, what's the line? You think everything's gonna something just because you market it harder?
I feel like you missed the actual meat of that.
Yeah.
So if you could find those words, that'd be great.
So it's No Name by NF, and that song, it doesn't actually have like a verse chorus, so I can't start at the chorus go into the verse. I have to start at the beginning of the song to know the words that are in the middle of the song.
Sick of people telling people I'm here because of marketing dollars. Oh, you think that everything is gonna blow just because you market it harder? No.
I'm sick of people telling people I'm here because of marketing dollars. Oh.
You cannot rap.
You think that everything is gonna blow just because you market it harder?
No.
Exactly.
I'm gonna add the actual track in the episode, but
Yeah. You think that everything's gonna blow just because you market it harder? No.
I think you should play the track and then you should play you trying to read it.
The beat in the background. Someone give him a mic. Mike? I got a mic.
yeah, you do.
It's pretty great.
It's funny that you have a mic and your mic is broken.
It's not broken.
No, it's not. His mic is broken.
This mic is broken. You guys have only been coming through this ear this entire time.
Actually,
Yep.
He's half deaf.
I need a new headset, but I'm a college student. Can't afford it.
this man's some braille.
Yes, Mike!
Wait, what'd you say?
We said the same thing. We said you need some braille.
You've had this microphone for like all 2 years of the podcast, and it's like your sound. And I'm going to be really sad to see it go just because the sound of the microphone has been so consistent. Even though they suck now and you can only hear things out of one ear.
Yeah.
It's been consistent of how your voice comes out in the episodes.
Watch me get the exact same headset. I could totally do that.
I mean, that could work.
These, $25.
Wow.
That makes sense.
It'd be cheaper on Temu.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not advertise that here.
No. Apparently it's Temu. That's what I learned last year, Super Bowl. Bless you.
They sell straight up excavators now. I saw an ad for it.
The X is sneaky beaky.
The XE is sneaky meeky peaky.
The I love that video. I love that
I
video.
haven't seen that video in so long.
I'll resend it to you. I got it on speed dial, basically.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't have Instagram anymore. You know what's sad about not having Instagram anymore? I can't do the. I'm starting to see why lasagna got its name.
First time making lasagna. Starting to see how it earned its name. Yeah, it takes a damn lang, a tickla amke, to make la tua saganagi. The damn plane that's on the gas and oven.
I can't watch that video anymore.
That was like 8 months ago.
Oh, I'd still laugh at it. I've been laughing for 8 months. I say it with a straight face.
No, we're trying to find it now, but I remember when we were sending it around, it was actually getting removed for some reason.
Yeah.
I understand my lasagna, get it to the
I don't understand. It's a good video.
It's really funny. It's so funny. Not funnier than you.
Oh, the Exy, not a saint.
No, that ain't.
Do you ladies have anything else you wanted to talk about? Because otherwise it'll be boys only next time we talk about Arcane.
Oh, what? You kicking us out?
It's gonna be the
You know
normal
what?
again.
Oh.
We're gonna do girls only. We're gonna do our own podcast.
Girl power.
Girls only.
I've said you can do a girls episode.
We're gonna do a girl takeover episode.
Girl take.
Yeah.
On My Little Pony.
Actually, Anna would so do that with me. Anna watched it
Is
too.
there enough depth in My Little Pony to break down?
Yes, there is.
There actually is.
There is.
There's so much, and you guys are gonna
There
learn.
is so much that you guys are missing.
Me, Mike, and Anna, we can go crazy. Like, it's gonna be good.
Can I summarize the entire show?
Arcane or My Little Pony?
My Little Pony,
Okay.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but friendship is the strongest power in the entire land.
There's so much more to that than you're giving credit. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It's such a deep, beautiful show with a lot of artistic things.
My pride does not allow me to say that you are right.
There are bronies for a reason. That's all I'm.
There are so many bronies.
I love brownies. I love brownies.
No. Bronies.
Except for the ones that one guy gave me at the back of the corner of the warehouse. Those ones weren't that good. Made me real hungry.
Are you good, bro?
You might have a little pop.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
He's on NyQuil right now.
Uh-oh.
I had 100. What was it? 102.
Yeah,
You got a
he had
fever, dude?
2.4 the other day.
Yeah, I was sick.
Last time you were sick in an episode, we said you might be dead by the time it airs.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, I'm on the side of recovery now, so you can't say that. But if we recorded like 3 days ago, I would have probably had like 102 something temp,
Wow.
and would have been sitting in a hospital parking lot just debating on whether or not I go in. But
Because you're a man and you don't need no doctor.
I don't need no
Because it's expensive.
doctor.
He's a college student.
Oh, that too.
I would do the same.
I know parents would have kicked in, but I wouldn't have wanted them to have to, you know.
Well, thank you guys for talking. Lots of laughs, lots of good times. And now
Lots of My Little Pony. Like
Lots
a
of My Little Pony.
surprising amount of My Little
and
Pony.
now you two know what diegetic sound means.
Welcome to the world of film. You'll never be able to go back.
I'm already too deep.
Yep, sorry. You knew what you're getting into.
Gosh, there's still a chance for you.
No comment. Keeping it to myself.
All right. All right. Well, with the big old and all good people said, we're mocking you, Josh. That's what this is.
It makes me think of the biggest sniff video with the baby going.
Yeah, you can do the biggest. Whoa.
That was just the inhale.
Wow.
Later, probably after the episode, I will burp quite loudly.
The man doesn't have bubblers this time.
Nope.
Oh, man.
No bubblers in Virginia. That's a lie. They do have the 3 worst flavors.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening or watching. We're going to do the filter thing because that's what I do when I have another person and I have to fit in one frame. Thank you for listening or watching. Make sure to share with your friends. Follow us on socials. And until next week, know that you're loved. God bless.
Peace out, brethren.
Michael, what's your outro?
What's your outro?
Say something Southern.
See ya, sisters.
Bye, y'all. I'm gonna go get my sweet tea and biscuits, mother and gravy. I'll see y'all later.
That's perfect.